Please excuse the audio issues in this episode. We are trying out our new webcams and we have since identified and fixed the problem and will be back to normal next episode. Thank you.
Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now, first things first, welcome back all the new subscribers. We're happy to have you here. Happy to keep you here if you'll stay with us. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe already because we are on our way to getting monetized, and once we do, we'll be using that money exclusively to buy more movie tickets and bring you more episodes. So no need to worry on that front. Today, we are looking at two pretty great movies on our docket here. We'll be starting off with The Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. And then we'll be taking a look at the Indian-made movie Kill. We don't usually have Indian movies on the podcast. In fact, I think this is our first one. Excluding Monkey Man, of course, because that is set in India, but the whole movie was made in America. But this is our first, actually made in India movie.
The whole movie was, done in Indian.
Yeah,
spoke
in Indian. Yeah, they spoke Indian.
Yeah, I don't know what the language is.
Hindi.
Hindi, yeah.
But without further delay here, let's get rolling right into Possum Trot. Take us away, Mr. Isaac.
Donna and Reverend Martin ignite a movement of compassion in their East Texas church for 22 families to adopt 77 of the most difficult to place kids in the local foster system.
Yeah, that's pretty much cut and dry. That's the best way to, just roll that out there.
That's a really solid intro to that movie, honestly.
Yeah. So first off the bat, this is another Angel Studios movie. We have seen a lot from them in the past few years. They released Sound of Freedom last year, which is about the horrors and travesties in child sex trafficking and the fight against that. That was a super good story. Very, very, very hard to watch because, again, when they make movies like this, they don't shy away from, the horrible, gruesome things that they do to these kids, and Sound of Hope was no different.
No, it was not. This movie was difficult to watch. It really, really was.
Yeah.
So
Isaac,
what?
Unfortunately, you did not see Sound of Freedom yet, which we have to fix, and hopefully this movie would change your mind on that.
Oh no, this movie, I definitely said, I told you after the movie that the two things about this movie is that, one, it made me realize I need to watch Sound of Freedom, but this movie also made me realize I also don't want to watch Sound of Freedom. I know I need to. I need to watch that movie. But this movie unlocked so many emotions in me. I've only cried at maybe 5 movies since we've started doing this.
Really, that many? That few, I should say. I know I don't cry very often at movies.
I cried at the
I got Iron Claw.
Yeah,
Iron Claw. Oh, what was that? Unsung Hero.
Yep.
This. And then Sound of Freedom for me.
Yeah.
Just those four. And we didn't even cover Sound of Freedom.
All I've really had is The Whale, Iron Claw, If, Unsung Hero, and then this.
Yeah.
Like this movie had me bawling by the end of it. Like
Yeah.
I had to take a quick moment, like after we were done.
Yeah, I saw you. I had to like come stand by you. Were gazing out the window in a 1,000-yard
Yeah.
stare.
I
Yeah,
needed to see what the outside world looked like again.
I shed many a tear in this theater, and not all of them were from sadness. This movie, and same thing with Sound of Freedom too. They do something that most movies don't do. Movies will make you laugh, they'll make you sad, but movies rarely touch into anger. This movie made
Yes.
me furious.
Yeah, like their movies can incite like anger towards characters and things like that, but
Right.
it's very rare that a movie makes you as a person angry,
Yeah,
like about
they
something.
showed they showed like real life pictures of like abused children, and it just like disturbed something in my gut that just made me viscerally angry and disgusted that someone would do something like that.
Like knowing that there are people out there that do that stuff makes me incredibly angry and sad to think about it. Like, cuz
And
I know the foster
that's
care
the
system is tough.
right. That's the purpose of the movie, is to shed light on that. Like these kids do exist. They are out there. They do go through things like this, and they need your help. So that's what the whole movement in Possum Trot was to you know bring some life and hope back to these kids who have lost it all.
Yeah, like my next door neighbor when I met the only other person that I've ever been able to call my best friend was my next door neighbor, besides you, I should say.
Oh,
Like,
I
I
thought
meant
you
to
were
say
talking about me.
no, like the only other person
The
other
only
than
other
you
one
that
besides me.
the only one other besides you that I've ever been able to call my best friend. Uh, him and his family lived next door, and they took on foster kids all the time, and a
Mhm.
lot of them had a lot of issues. Like, I could tell that it was a rough thing because it's.
You
I
must have got
understand.
like callbacks to that during the movie.
Yeah, exactly, and 'cause it was rough because a couple of those kids, like their story, like I don't think any of I didn't meet any kids that were as bad as the ones in this movie, but like the both the feeling of abandonment and the feeling of just not having love is very present in the foster system. Like, I get it a lot, like, some of them, like a percentage of them are probably orphans, like, their parents died or something,
Mhm.
but it is saddening that a vast majority of them are people who are the children of people that didn't want them, like, they're drug addict parents, so they were taken away from their
Like
parents.
CPS like took them because
Yes.
they were just
It's
an active danger to their own children.
like that moment in the movie where she asks Donna, uh, did my mother hate me? Is
Oh,
something that I feel is that is a question no child should have to ask. And like you were even kind of explaining it to me like afterwards because I'm sitting here and I'm like I don't understand how people can do this. I don't get how you can harm your own child really. And you pointed out that it's not really it's themselves that they hate It's a problem with
Yeah, they
themselves.
don't hate their kids; they hate themselves, and they take it
There's
out on the
actually
kids.
a show I was watching recently. Now, granted, it's a show, fiction, work of fiction, but there was a mom, and she had depression, and rather than have her son witness her like hurt herself, she like got him out of the like put him with her grandparents and everything. Like she loved him. She spent all her money on him, spent nothing on herself. But like she went to great lengths to make it so her child would not be hurt by her. And to see people that do this to their children is insane. Like that they have
So
no regard towards innocence in children.
yeah, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this movie. Uh,
Mhm.
right off the bat, character acting phenomenal.
Well, the characters were
I think the
amazing. All of them were great.
right. I think the best one, in my opinion, was the Reverend, the father. Like he
Mm.
nailed every single kind of emotion he was intended to draw from you. When he was funny and making jokes, they were fucking funny.
They were.
Guy had me audibly laughing. He was funny.
I like.
And then when he got serious, like you felt that you was like, oh, like that, like, oh, we disappointed dad kind of feeling
Yeah.
in your guys. And then when he's given like the sermons, the speeches up at his church, like I started like resonating. I was like, oh, that's a damn good point you're making right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he like every single scene that he did, he nailed it. And then when they show the real life guy at the end, it could have been like they could have been brothers.
Yeah, they really could have been. I the he was just such a good like authoritative figure while also being a very soft and kind father,
Right.
which is very cool. I have to say, uh the church scenes were accurate.
Yeah.
Like super accurate. Like
As we
I
all
don't
know, Isaac, you're black, so that's just like your churches, right?
well, no, like I went on a mission trip to Kentucky once. And while we were there, we attended church at this small chapel that the entire service was like that. Like they
It's
were
like what?
singing and they were on their feet
It's
and they
like
were
what?
singing they were singing and they were on their feet and like
Well, they?
yeah, the
Why don't you just
congressional
why don't
people.
you just why don't you just throw in those people, huh? I'm joking.
I went to a black church and I had a good time.
In the vibes in there, I don't know how you can have a bad time at a black church.
No, I don't see how you could like that is legitimately accurate. They're singing and they're like you can feel the
Like
Lord
they
in
like
that
get
room.
up and they
Yeah.
hit him with the
They hit him with the
and I'm
hit him
like
with the testify. Like there
in
was
the
one
Holy
lady
Ghost.
where any moment there was one lady where in every scene she was in, at one point you saw her raise her hand.
Yeah, yeah, they do that at those kind of churches. They're very like reaching
Yeah.
out. They do that a lot.
And
I've
and
noticed.
like
That just might be like more of a cultural thing.
yeah. The the great one of the greatest moments in the movie is the climax where
Uh-huh.
they're all in the church and well, I guess that's not really the climax, it's more of the turning point of the movie.
Oh,
But they're all in the church and the, the pastor, he's talking about how you all feel doubt and regret. Like you have hardship for taking these children on. And
They
I know
fucking
I know because I feel it too. And they all like come together. And he like gets them to all come together and link arms and be like I I wish I am so sad I did not grow up in the era of it takes a village to raise a child.
yeah.
Like back when our
Now you're
parents
growing
were
up in the
kids.
it takes the government and not you to raise your child.
But yeah, because like when our parents were kids, they didn't just have their parents. They had every parent on the block. Like
Yeah.
parent like watching out. Like no one had any problem telling you to, hey, like deal with your kid. Like your kid's messing up. And this is a like a I mean that's a bad example, but it's like community isn't really a thing anymore.
Yeah, and they really strike that in this movie. Like the community is such a good, strong part of this film, and you
And
really
the
feel
fact
that on every aspect.
and it was amazing to see like in the later parts of the movie, like in the like around the credits where they flash
Mhm.
forward to today to this year.
That has got to be the best. Like, where are they now? Slash, like the real life counterparts to the
Yeah.
actors segment of any movie. Oh, just seeing the real life people from this story and like everything that they're doing with their lives now, that was so beautiful, man. Like that bit alone had me
Yes.
like tears of joy. That was
That that
so
movie
that was amazing.
that movie made me it just like that entire thing every single time you saw a new person. Like one of the kids especially.
Mhm.
And like they're growing up, they got families of their own. They're owning businesses and stuff. Like
Mhm.
especially when they showed Terry, I was like, look at her, she's so happy. And like
Like you feel and see the difference that they made,
exactly. And
and that's really
it was
nice.
so it was so powerful.
Mhm.
Especially when like the lady that helped them, Susan, like she helped them adopt all these kids and get them get them adopted and everything. Like finding out that she died in like the early 2000s was really sad. But it's cuz honestly it made me sad because it was super uplifting to me to see that there were people like that in the system, working in the
Mhm.
system. And then to find out that that person is no longer there.
Mhm.
Like this person, this amazing person who
She
helped
did.
so many people get to that. Like it's
She she not only won an award for her amazing work that she did, but the entire town knew her like family,
exactly like it
and
is
that's beautiful.
like I've always wondered what it was like to have a big family. Like, yeah, I got a big family, but because I got like cousins and stuff like that, you know, family branches out big, but like you don't see those people, at least not
Right.
constantly. Like I've always wondered what it was
Well,
like
that's
for
the
people like my grandma, because my grandma had 16 brothers and sisters. Like I can't imagine what it must be like to have a family like that.
um.
I've always wondered how it would be.
I think I want to talk about like one of the more heavy scenes in this movie, and that's the
Yeah.
climax. So,
Yes.
spoiler alert, but like there's it's not just the climax of the movie; it's like the undertones of it. So
Yes.
around the middle point, maybe the 2/3 point of the movie, they're at a baptism of one of the kids, and Terry, the like older of them, she was like 13 by the end of the movie, and she was
Yeah.
really, really abused, and she's been passed around the foster system a lot. She didn't understand the baptism, so she was asking about it, and the mom Donna, she says it's in accepting Christ, you are reborn into a new person. You
Yeah.
It's a shifting point in your life,
You
and
have a new
at
life now.
and at the end of the movie, uh, Harry, she completely breaks down, and she screams out that she wants to die, and the mom hides the pills, hides the knives, makes sure that she can't hurt herself in any way, and she ends up stealing the car, stealing the baptism dress, and going out to a lake and uh, essentially attempting to baptize herself so that she can make her own turning point in her whole life, because she just wanted a change that bad. And in doing so, she really rallies the whole town as they're out there searching for her, looking for her, just hoping that she's okay. And
Yeah, that scene was insane because I didn't even realize immediately that she was
Mhm.
wearing the baptism dress. I just saw she was wearing a
yeah,
dress.
because
And
yeah,
like,
she had a yellow coat over that, so it was kind of hidden from you.
yeah, like I didn't catch that it was that. I did catch about halfway through the scene that it was, but like I think that's the point is that
Yeah,
you're
the point
supposed
is like,
to
is she gonna go drown herself? Is she gonna hurt herself
yeah.
out there? What's gonna happen? And then when she takes off the coat and you see she's in the baptism dress, that's when it clicks. Like, oh, she's trying to turn her own life around.
It wasn't until she came up out of the water that I realized what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like that was a super harrowing scene for me until that exact moment. Which is what they were going for with that scene. Was that they were
Right.
going for you think she's going to kill herself. And oh, like everything that like happened, especially with that girl. All right, it's a lot to think about because she, you know, she was trying to make herself feel beautiful. So she was, wearing clothes that would attract the attention of boys. And it's like they kind of left it. I think they left it kind of vague. I don't know if she was actually like, if that boy actually did
Yeah,
something bad.
they left it vague at what happened. She didn't want to answer.
Yeah.
But Isaac, I see you getting a little teary eyed. So
Yeah.
um, I just want to say, guys, if you have any interest at all in seeing this movie, go see it. And if you're really not sure, you can't afford it, you don't want to waste money on it if you're not going to like it, go onto their website. Isaac and I both have donated tickets, because that's the cool thing about Angel Studios is that you can donate tickets. You can pay it forward, pay ahead, and buy tickets for other people who can't afford them,
Hmm.
and or who just really need it right now. Because
Yeah.
what if you got a friend who's like, yeah, man, I don't know, and then just like, man, tickets free, come on. And he says whatever, and then he goes and see it
Yeah.
and opens up his whole worldview, changes his whole point of view on things. So go claim your tickets, or
No
just go
joke.
see it. Get
This movie
ahead.
had me by the end of it, where I was sitting here and I'm like I walked out and I had to ground myself back to reality because
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like I need to go adopt a kid. I
Yeah, well,
I
it's definitely like changed my viewpoint. Like if I like when I'm older, when I have a family, I definitely going to be open to the thought of adoption now. Like before, I was like, man, I kind of want to keep it, my bloodline, my family,
Yeah.
whatever. But now, like, if I can handle it,
Yeah.
I'd be open to doing that.
Like it took me it took me walking out of that theater and then remembering my own financial struggles to be like, oh yeah, I can't do that right now. But I'm sitting
No,
there and
I
I'm just
can't
like,
do that. No, no, I can't
like
have a kid sleeping on the McDonald's bags in my bathroom. No.
no, I can't, nah. I don't have a proper bedroom, so
I can't feed myself, a kid, and all these cockroaches. Come on now. What am I, Mr. Moneybag here? Anyways, let's head on into the rankings for this.
absolutely.
I'm a stand. Go ahead.
I'm a just come out and say this is a 10 out of 10 movie. This is absolutely like a high 10 movie. Like, oh my gosh, this movie was amazing. It opened my
I
eyes to a
agree.
lot of issues, and it opened. It'll open a lot of eyes to the issue of this, and because kids need a family.
I agree. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me as well. It's a very, very heart-wrenching and harrowing watch, but so is Sound of Freedom. And what these things do is they shed the light on the dark parts of life and show you how important it is that those get changed and that people step up and do something about that. I think what Angel Studios is doing, especially with like this vein of movies, is very, very important and very moving. And I'm glad to see that their movies are becoming extremely successful and critically acclaimed, and they're really making a difference and sharing these beautiful stories with everyone.
Absolutely. They have really solidified themselves as a legitimate movie studio.
Exactly, they're in the with the big boys now.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Ill.
Hell! Sorry.
Ill.
Has
As
been
we've
the
been
joke.
calling it.
Insert clip of Steve Harvey. Like,
Yeah,
please,
the Steve Harvey
like,
saying "killed." That's how we say it. Or we've been calling
yeah,
it Indian Bullet Train, as it is, because
yeah.
it's essentially Indian Bullet Train.
Yeah, so the movie is a train to New Delhi becomes a combat battleground as a pair of commandos faces off against an army of invading bandits. That is a
Yeah,
solid that is a solid solid summary of this movie. This movie, oh my gosh, like calling it a battleground, a combat battleground is almost an understatement. Like,
he
it
goes
really is.
nuts. He goes nuts in this thing. And right out the gate, I want to set up a spoiler warning. If you have any interest in seeing this, which I highly recommend, feel free to skip ahead to the rankings or tiptoe lightly, carefully throughout this ranking, because we're gonna get into a lot of spoilers here because there's a lot to talk about.
Yes,
Very,
this
very
movie.
first thing off the bat. Very
Here, hold
first
on
thing
one
off
sec.
the bat.
Well, I just want to say before we get too heavily into spoilers, this movie has an action level akin to like a John Wick movie.
Mhm.
Like it is so much higher and further beyond than you think it would be. And this is so if you are interested in that type of movies, absolutely watch this. However you can. It's so
Right.
good.
It's yeah. It's not like most Bollywood movies. This had serious money and like
had
serious
Lionsgate behind it.
directing behind it. It had Lionsgate and roadside attractions behind it, so it was pretty hardcore and took itself pretty seriously as a movie.
It really,
Not
really
all those
did.
shifting jump cuts that Bollywood movies are known for, but real, actual action here.
Like you felt everything in this movie, and it was very well done. So, without further ado, evidently go watch it. Spoiler alert, warning, big red letters, and don't go further if you want to watch it.
Isaac, when are you ever gonna learn that I'm never gonna actually put up big red letters?
Eventually, if I say it enough times, you'll just get
You
pissed
will
and
not.
do it.
I won't. That's more work for me. Why would I do that?
Fair. I'm gonna get a sign made that I can hold up to the camera eventually.
Do that!
when we
I
get
don't have to
cameras.
do that then.
That is a
That's
spoiler
less
warning.
work for me. You don't want to. If you want to
I'll
do
give
that,
you a
go
stock
ahead.
image that you can just slap into the video.
I'm not slapping shit into the video, dude. It's already enough work putting this all together. Anyways, the movie.
Yeah, alright.
So, first of all, the main character, Amrit, I believe his name is a fucking tank.
Yes. Absolutely.
He puts John Wick to shame almost. I
He
walk that
almost
line on
does.
saying that.
No, I'm with you on that.
Because at the beginning of the movie, the bandits are just on there to rob the train. And then they find out that, oh, there's a rich guy on here. There's a rich guy on the train. We'll take him and his family for ransom. Get more money.
Yeah.
Little does he know the main character, Amrit, is fiance to the rich guy's daughter. So now it's personal. And throughout that point, as he's fighting off all the bandits on there, it starts off, he's only beating them to submission, unconscious, incapacitated.
Yes.
You know,
He
he's
even
hitting
yells
them
at
in the
at
head,
his
knocking
buddy.
them unconscious.
Like
Don't
he's
kill
even
them.
yelling at his brother in arms, you don't have to kill them, just take them, subdue them, kind of thing.
Yeah. And that goes pretty well until the big bad, the main head honcho, is that Fanny? Is that his name?
I believe that's his name,
Fanny.
possibly. I think Fanny sounds right. I mean, it's probably not how you pronounce
means,
it,
right?
but his name is Fanny.
Okay. Fani. Anyways, he makes a mistake here.
It's actually really funny because he's just credited in the cast list for the movie as actor.
Of course he is. He makes a mistake, and he ends up killing the daughter, the main guy's fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super, super gruesome because he stabs her in the back, and then stabs her in the neck, and then just throws her out the train door.
Yeah.
And it holds on that slow-mo shot of her just falling out onto the tracks. And he does that right at the window with Amrit on the other side. So he does that right in front of him.
Also, at the same moment, Amrit is getting the shit kicked. He's trying to fight his way to her. And he's getting the shit kicked out of him. And all of a sudden, the love of his life is dead.
Right in front of him. So that was a big mistake because now the incapacitate, the don't kill them rule, out the door. That's when the title card kicks in. Kill. Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Dude went feral after that. like
Yeah.
mercilessly going through them. And
To
like,
give some examples here, he what's a good one? So he throws a knife at a guy's face, and it's like lodged into his mouth, right? And he's like choking on it while he's fighting other bad guys. And then when he kills off everyone else, and it's just the guy with the knife in his throat, he comes up and he just kicks it even further down his throat and kills him. Like he
yeah,
just like stomps it even further in there.
like, oh, and like all the like him utilizing the train itself so often was
Uh-huh.
so good. Like the amount of times you see him just take a dude's face and slam it into like into a surface, or the ones that I really liked was where like one's on his back and he just jumps up and uses the top bunk to like just
Oh yeah.
slam them into it. Like, oh
They
my
just
god.
bashing them into the walls because it's not like a nice luxury train. Like this is India train. It's super compact. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of room in here. He's fighting like two guys at the same time in a bathroom.
Yeah,
Like
the first
the
go ahead.
confinement in this is very well done.
Oh yes, like fighting in an enclosed space was a very well done choreography. Like the choreography they did for that was so good. And like one of the first really brutal kills he does like looked really good cuz he absolutely demolishes a dude's head with a fire extinguisher. Like he just takes it
Mm-hmm.
off the thing and he slams it into the dude's head over and over and over again. And like, oh, and the
Yeah, this
thing we
is
forgot to
not
mention about
for the
this,
faint
the
of
thing we
heart.
forgot to mention about this movie is that the bandits are all like a family of bandits. So
Yeah,
he is
that was I
mercilessly. Go ahead.
I thought that was brilliant
Yes,
because every death in this movie meant something.
it
Because
had
if
weight.
it,
All of them did.
because ev- they all did, because the death on the rich family side, that was like the good guys dying, which you didn't want, and that was his love, his family. Any death that he did to the bandits, that's like an entire extended family. That's like, oh, third cousin, 15th brother, you know. So every single bandit he killed was like a personal family death to them, and just
Dude,
made them dig their heels in deeper. Like it's more ammo for their revenge.
it pissed
And then
off
even
dude so bad. He after he demolished an entire train car and forced them to have to retreat to like take care of their wounds or recoup or whatever. He went through the train car and hung all of the people in that train car like from the ceiling and like
right,
just
and
left them there
not
for
like
them to find.
when he does that, he hangs up like one on screen, and you think like, oh, like he's sending a warning. But when they reach that car, he hung up every single one to
Yes.
fuck with their head. In order to get to him, they have to push past like 20 dead family members hanging by their necks. And like they even take the time to like bring them down. Don't let him hang there. So they like take down all the bodies and cry over each one.
Mhm.
And you see, this is a family, and they do care about each other. And like this is like emotionally impactful to each of them. And even outside of the good guys, the bad guys, there's the innocent people just riding on the train, and even their deaths mean something. Because there's one guy who just gets a random cut to the throat, and it's so meaningless, so pointless, such a waste of life that was so unnecessary. It just hits you really hard. Like he had no reason to die. And then the other one, there was a kid who was on like a soccer team or something, and he was one of the only ones on the train when bandits first started killing, or not killing, but robbing everyone, he got up and tried to fight back and be the hero, and he ended up catching a knife in the chest, and he bled out and
Yeah.
died. So
Oh.
every single death had weight to it in one way or another.
It really did. I also want to talk about another aspect of this movie that I think was very enjoyable to us. So little context for this before I go any further.
I know exactly
We
what you're talking about.
we a while back we sat down and we watched the Indiana Jones movies with our friend Alex. You might know him from previous episodes.
We don't need to go back that far
Yeah,
for
I know, but I
context.
just
Let
want
me
to
just
take it,
tell you.
and but I just want to get the
Let me.
thing.
I am getting the thing. I have a way easier way to explain it.
Fine.
If you'll let me. Okay. So, in this movie, they have a Sergei. And what a Sergei is you all know the trope when in any action movie, when they're fighting off dudes, and then one dude, he just pushes aside. He's like twice the size of everyone else, and he just pushes everyone else. He's like, my turn. That's the Sergei. That's the Sergei. Remember in Jingle All the Way when he's fighting off all the Santas, and then you get the big Santa with the suspenders? That's the
Yeah, that's
Sergei.
Sergey.
That's the
And
Sergei.
like the Sergey of this movie was the best one ever. I
He was
loved him so much.
huge, that guy. He was like 7 foot. He was like seven
He
foot
was,
tall, Adidas jumpsuit.
and
He was a monster.
it's also the first time we've had a Sergey fleshed out.
Yeah,
Like
like he had an
he
actual
had like
character.
he had lines, he had character. Like dude had to deal with his father's death in the movie.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, his
dude
father was the one who cut the knife to the throat, the knife in
yeah,
his mouth.
it's been like you're watching it and there are like 4 separate scenes where this man goes up against him.
Hmm.
Like 3 or 4 separate
Yeah,
scenes where those
he's
two are just brawling it out. Oh.
because it takes a guy of that size to hold a beast like that guy back.
Well, that's the thing is he's a commando, so like
Right.
they're like like that's like Black Ops level for America, like to compare it to
Hmm.
America. Like they are the elite of their military.
Right.
So it was so well done. The choreography, the fighting, the camera work in this movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that
Yeah.
it was
I
all on one train, it never felt like the setting got boring at any point.
it never felt limited or anything. In fact, like even the opposite, because about like in the last third of the movie, they reveal like this whole like killing spree and like plot and robbery. It's only happening on the last like 5 cars.
Yeah.
Like the front of the train had no idea. There's police officers at the front of the train, and they had no idea until now. Until
Yes.
like until like 3 quarters into the movie, and I'm like, really? I thought they took over the whole damn train.
Yeah, because that was a crazy thing about this movie was that they were able to just sit there and just completely lock off entire sections of the train.
Yeah, yeah.
Which again,
I
I
felt that
assume
the
is just a
location of
cultural
the
thing.
train worked very very well.
It did. It really did. And like the the other thing was is that the bandits' plan, their original plan, because the other thing is that the whole reason the plot of the movie happens, why this all ends up happening, is because the main bad guy, Fanny, who's like the son of the head of this family or whatever,
Yeah,
like or the nephew or I don't know. Anyway,
he's
he got greedy and he found when he found the like the guy
the
who's
rich family.
The rich family, yeah. When he found the rich family, he's like, "Hey, we can ransom these guys for this." Because the original plan was, we get on one stop, or we slow down the train at one point, and then we get on, and then we're gone before the next stop, and we just robbed all these people, and we have all this money now. That was the original
Yeah.
plan. Dude messed up when he started messing with the plan, and really just the moment that he started messing with Amrit's fiance. Like like the moment he
He
got greedy, he fucked everything. Like his whole family, oh, pretty much his entire family is dead because of him.
he killed John Wick's dog, is what he did.
Yes, he did. Oh my gosh. And like, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about this scene. So I can't remember if it's the first time that the family as a majority sees one of the dead bodies, like one of the people that he's like killed.
Yeah,
But he kills one of them and he writes the number 20, what is it, 21 or 24?
23.
Yeah,
I
he
think
writes the number
23.
23 on their chest in blood, indicating that that's the amount of people that he's killed.
He's counting, dude.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Bro, imagine someone keeping score on how many of your family members he's killed. Like, he fucks with them not only physically and just absolutely bodying and decimating every single person he comes across, but he fucks with. Oh my god. He fucks with their heads like
Oh, it's
next level.
constantly.
Like, I get secondhand psychological damage watching the shit he puts that family through, and they kinda deserve it.
They definitely deserve it. This, oh. We went into this movie not expecting much.
Yeah,
Like I did not
I only
expect an
saw.
insane amount at all. I expected like
Yeah,
it looked like the action would be cool, but this movie blew me away.
yeah. Characters, writing, like cinematics. Like, I was not expecting at all to be this invested in it. Like, we went to go and see this for my birthday. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we was just like, well, it's in theaters, throw it on, whatever. We'll go see
Yeah.
see it, anything.
Go see a
Let's just
movie
go
on your
do that. Let's
birthday. Yeah.
be killed, whatever. Yeah, sure, whatever. And I was like, if it's whatever, it's whatever. Like, it was kind of like let's do something. And I was not expecting it to be that intriguing, investing, and just good. Like, if I don't know, we got to start adding some more Indian movies on the channel here. Maybe if
Maybe.
the writer, directors, actors are in anything else, we'll definitely be
I'm gonna
giving
keep
it
an
a
eye out for
shot.
them.
If they make Kill 2 somehow, we'll be first in line for tickets. I'll tell you that. This was phenomenal. I cannot wait till this comes out on DVD so I can have a physical copy in my hands. That is going to be integral to my collection.
Yeah, this movie is. I am really hoping it gets a DVD release. Like really hoping it's like an American DVD
I'm
release.
hoping it gets a DVD release in this country.
Yes. It would
Well,
be so good.
that that reminds me. I have no idea if this is a cultural thing or not, but just at random intervals in the movie, they will just start speaking English. They will
Yeah,
just
that
switch
was
from Hindi
weird.
to English for
I
like a
mean, it's
single
still
sentence and
subtitled
then
in
back.
English. Like the whole
Right.
movie is still subtitled, but like they'll throw English words into sentences, and I wonder if it's just because it's like a shorthand thing, Maybe
I
the English
have no
word is just
idea.
shorter. The English word is just shorter, anyways, and
Well,
they
no, 'cause
know that everyone knows that.
it wasn't like a word or two. Like they would be having whole conversations in Hindi, and then they'll switch to English for like one sentence, like the whole
Yeah,
sentence in English, and then switch back.
yeah.
So
I'd be really
I
interested to
don't know if
learn
that's
whether or not
just
that's like a normal thing in
yeah,
India or not.
or if that was just to like somewhat appease the American English speaking audience into the circle of ticket buyers.
Yeah,
Because I
I
know
mean,
they'll do that
it.
a lot.
Yeah,
I know they'll do that a lot. They'll have if it's a foreign movie that they're expecting to release in America or English speaking countries, they'll
mhm,
throw English characters, they'll throw English lines
yeah.
in there just because. But like I don't know,
The
there was
other.
just a
Oh,
lot more Hindi, and then they just switched over to English so like random and
yeah.
meaninglessly. Not entirely sure if that's for the movie or if that's just part of the culture. Again,
Well, if Godzilla -1 is any indication of how long it might take to get a DVD release
oh
in America for this
no,
movie,
no,
like
no!
that
I don't
movie,
want to
that
wait for my next birthday.
because I think on the website you actually might be able to buy. They have a Godzilla, like Toho Studios has a merch website. I think I saw that you can buy Blu-ray copies of Godzilla -1, but I didn't
Well,
trust
they
it.
released it in
So,
Japan already. They released it in Japan already, but it's not coming to America until like October.
dang. But no,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely go and check this movie out. I absolutely like us describing it does it zero justice.
Yeah. And like they did not cheap out on the violence and the gore and the special effects. It looks good.
It looks so good.
And they are
Like
absolutely brutal. If you're looking for a nice, fun kill fest movie with some decent writing, here you go. Kill.
yeah, it's great. And what's even crazier about this movie, it was criminally, after watching it, criminally underhyped.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
this movie had zero.
the only reason we even saw this is because there was one trailer for it at the beginning of Boy Kills World. That's the
Yes,
only reason we even knew about it.
and then we
And there
saw
was
the
one
poster
poster.
that just
We
kind of
saw
moved
one
around the
poster, and
theater, and that was it.
it was taken down the next week. It was taken
Yeah,
down the next week.
this movie was in
Um,
theaters for less than 3 weeks.
yeah, yeah. We were the only ones in the theater to go see that. So for my birthday, we get to see this phenomenal flick all to ourselves. We got a private screening
Yeah,
of this movie, and that
this
was
was insane.
fantastic.
Uh,
Want to run it
I
over to the
to the
rankings then?
rankings. Yeah, I think that's fine. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off for this?
Once again, dude, 10 out of 10. I don't even know how I would better this movie. Like a lot of movies, like, and you know me because I've
Yeah,
done this many times.
it takes a bit
I
for you to
just
get a
pitch like,
10.
oh, it'd be better. Well, it does, but like like other movies, I'd just be like, oh, well, you could have done this, you could have done this, or here's how I would have ended that, or something like that. Like I have nothing. I have
Yeah,
no I have no suggestions to make this movie any better. It is so fucking good. You have no idea.
I uh I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. This movie is a 10 out of 10. I have zero criticisms for this movie. The only thing that we got even close to a criticism for was the whole English speaking thing. And that's just more maybe we're just uneducated.
And that's just like, hey, we don't know about that. It's
Yeah,
just like,
but
is that normal? We don't know. But we rolled with it and it works.
yeah, and that was the other thing is that the whole movie is subtitled, but honestly, it didn't take away anything from the movie.
No, not at all.
I mean, if you're
because
slow
most of
to
the
read,
dialogue,
you might have trouble with it, but
most of the dialogue is in its own part. They're not having
Yeah.
conversations mid battle. So while they're talking to each other, you can read on the bottom, and then when it's time for him to go crazy, you have nothing to read, so you can just shift your attention back
Yeah.
to the people on screen rather than the text on the bottom. Which perfect way to do that.
Yeah, no, this movie is very, very good. 10 out of 10 would recommend every single time. I doubt it's even
All
still
right.
in theaters, but if it is in your
No, it's
area,
not. It's
by
already
some
gone. It's
if
already gone.
but if by some miracle you still have a theater that shows it near you, go see it in theaters. It's so good.
It is very, very good. All right. So, pretty short podcast. We only had 2 movies, but that's because we're saving the rest of them for next time. We have a nice lineup coming up here. We are looking at Maxine, Long Legs, and Despicable Me 4, everybody. Get ready
One
for
of
that.
these things doesn't belong here.
I was gonna have a funny joke, but I didn't have it. I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. Once again, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We are on track for our goal to really, really raise attention and traffic to our channel. Be sure to check out our Letterboxd as well, because we constantly update that as soon as the podcasts are up, and we also update that as soon as we watch movies in real life on our own time. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap. Roll credits.